Okay, so we've just arrived at a call out for a western barred spitting cobra inside the house. So we're quickly just gonna go in and hopefully we can get the snake. Just quickly want to grab my gear. As you can see, he is not really happy at the moment, so let's quickly catch him. Just prep everything, make sure the bucket is ready. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I know. Okay, make sure he wants to go in. There we go. Perfect. Zebra snake. Perfect. So we're here at the UNAM School of Veterinary Science, and we're actually currently busy implanting trackers into western barred spitting cobras for our snake translocation project. So we're trying to figure out what happens if you relocate snakes, whether they survive or die. We're also looking at ethology, which is basically snake behavior, and then also at spatial ecology. Unfortunately, trackers really don't work that well externally, so we have to implant them. So our lovely vet is going to demonstrate how we're going to do this. So if you're squeamish, look away. Okay, now obviously, one of the most important parts is we're going to make a small incision where the tracker is going into the body cavity. And the reason for this is obviously because the trackers can't fit on the outside, it needs to go into the body. And you'll see in a bit what this is going to look like. So the tracker itself goes into the body cavity, and then the antenna you would basically see would be put underneath the skin, basically between the skin and the ribs. So you can see it's not a big incision that we're making, it's quite small.
Going right through the muscle layer, bluntly dissecting it open. And there you can see the coulommic cavity.
That's really cool.
We just need an opening big enough for us to be able to get that tracker in.
Now the importance of this study is also that it will determine what the future of snake conservation in Namibia would be. Because what we are trying to do is trying to figure out whether in the long term snake relocation will be beneficial or not. If it is beneficial, we're going to continue with it. If not, then obviously we need to look at other solutions to the problem. And hopefully the data we collect from these snakes will help us to come up with a national plan for human-snake conflict. And another cool thing that we can do with this data is we can basically also look at when these snakes move most frequently. And then we can also use this to pretty much warn people when to be on the lookout for this snake. Because as you know, western barred spitting cobra is accountable for the majority of the serious snake bites we deal with in Namibia. As you can see, the tracker is in the body cavity. And now, I think we're going to put the antenna underneath the skin. So before releasing the snakes, we are also going to keep them in captivity for at least 48 hours just to make sure that there's no infection or any other complications with it. And also we're very picky with the snakes that we use for this. So not every zebra snake gets a tracker. Number one, because if you're using trackers, it should not be more than 5% of the snake's weight. And number two, one of the big complications we have with these trackers is that they can actually block the digestive tract, and that can lead to slow, painful death for the snake. So at the moment, what we're using, or the snakes we're using, are over 1.4 meters. So anything over that works really, really well for our project. So far we have about, well, this will be snake number 2 and snake number 3 that will be released. And also very important, everything is done under permit. So not all of our research projects you can't just go out and start one. You have to have permits in order to do stuff like this. You can see the antenna going in underneath the skin. And then obviously the poor students, they have to monitor the heart rate.
Very important.
Yeah, otherwise we don't know whether the snake is going to
wake up
or not.
So far, anesthetic is going really well, very stable. If I can't follow it through, then I will just pass it through again.
So what's also cool about this project is that it is the first of its kind to be done in Namibia. And also when looking at the effects of translocation, this is the first time that this project has actually been done, in Africa. So the data that's going to come from this is going to be really useful for us. And hopefully we'll have a solution in the long term for snake conflict on our continent. And conserve snakes, of course. We want to save human lives, but we also want to make sure that snakes are saved, even though a lot of people don't like them. That's the incision where the tracker was put in. You can see the
running nice and smoothly under the skin.
The antenna's running. Now, pretty much how this process works is that this antenna basically sends out a radio frequency every couple of seconds. We have a receiver which picks up the frequency, and pretty much then we can follow where the snake has moved to and where it's settled. And the range at which these trackers or at which the receiver picks up is typically anywhere from 500 to 800 meters. If it's a bit higher, you can get. Hi guys, so the snake that we removed from that lady's house and that was implanted with a tracker is now officially ready to be released. As you can see, it's quite a big boy. This male measured in at about 1.6 meters, and what we're just quickly going to do is just to test out the telemetry equipment and make sure it works before we release it, because obviously we don't want to lose our snake. So just quickly want to switch on the telemetry gear, and there we go. So we know that it is functioning, and what we are going to do now is just gently take out the snake and just release him. So this is of course the western barred spitting cobras, which is going to form the baseline of our research because the snake is so common. And what you'll notice is as soon as he feels the ground, he'll be on his way. There we go. So let's hope that this relocation works, because we do have a sneaky suspicion that relocating snakes is not really an effective mitigation tool for human-wildlife conflict.